The Bible is a living word that reads us as we read it. It's a person, a voice that proves that time is not linear, as one sentence can confirm the past, guide the present, and declare the future. You are here. I am here. He is here. We are here right now, in the tomorrow of yesterday and in the yesterday of tomorrow. I thank you for joining today. So we're back. Thank you so much for joining once again. In our last episode, we talked about a few things, but we ended talking about Joseph and introducing Joseph in the hatred that his brothers had for him, the love that his father Jacob had for him, and how Joseph was a dreamer and he had dreams that his brothers would bow to him, that his father and his siblings and parents would bow to him, and his brothers weren't really feeling that too much. They didn't like the dynamic that Joseph had with their father, and they just didn't like him. And so they plotted to off him, and they ended up compromising and deciding instead to make a little money off of him. So they trafficked him basically, and they sold him to some traders who then sold him to the palace guard of the king of Egypt. And so that's where Joseph left off. And we're going to pick up again in the story with the story of Joseph here in the next episode if God should bless me to record another one. But there's a turn here. And it's so interesting because it's just kind of dropped in the middle of this narrative. And I considered leaving it out, but then I'm like, absolutely not. I've got to tell this story. So here we pick up with Judah, okay? And those of you who know, you know, because you've heard of the Lion of Judah. You know that the bloodline of Jesus Christ is through Judah, humanly speaking, okay? So here we go. Judah left home, okay? He wifed up this Canaanite woman and started growing a family with her, okay? So Judah had 3 sons. He had a son named Onan, and Shelah. And actually married this woman named Tamar. And so wasn't a very good man. He was wicked, and the Lord wasn't really feeling that too much. He didn't like all the wickedness and stuff. So he struck him dead. And so Judah, because it was the custom, Judah was like, okay, yo, Onan, marry Er's wife, Tamar, have a son with her, so that your brother will then have a descendant and you can produce an heir for your brother. And Onan was like, nah, I'm good with that. Like, I don't know that he outwardly said that, but I just imagine that was his attitude, his posture, his demeanor, because he didn't want to have a son that would have the rights to the inheritance that would otherwise be passed on to him, right? And we have proof that that was his attitude because when he went in to lay with Tamar, he actually pulled out and spilled his seed. And the Lord was like, you so selfish and you wrong for that. So he actually struck him dead too. Now, mind you, Judah is peeping the game and he's like, had 3 sons. 2 of my sons been with this woman. I am not in a rush to get my 3rd son because those 2 sons were with her and they died. So I'm not in a rush to give my 3rd son up to this woman. So what he did was he's like, all right, Tamar, so sorry for your loss. They were my loss too. You go on back home and just spend some time with your family. Give Sheila some time, or Shelah, whatever it is. We'll say Shelah. It sounds more masculine. Give Shelah some time to get older. And when he's old enough to marry, then I'ma send for you. Okay. And so, yeah, but you just going back home and you go grieve and I'ma grieve. And the reality is Judah had no intention on ever sending for her because he didn't want his last son to die too. So even though it wasn't her fault we don't know that it was her fault that they died. It seemed to be by their own wickedness that they did. So anyhow, so some time passed and Judah's wife also died. And at this point, Shelah, he's grown, he's a grown man, got his little peach fuzz growing and everything. And No arrangements were made for him to go and marry Tamar. Nobody sent for her. She didn't get a telegram, a text message, nothing. And so what she did was she's like, "All right, cool, yeah. You ain't gonna do right by me, that's cool." So she disguised herself, she covered her face, she went and she just kinda hung out beside the road. And one day Judah was in town and he saw her and he just thought, "Okay, yeah, I like her figure." And he's just like checking her out and he thought she was working the streets, And so he approached her and he's like, "Yo, what you want to do?" And again, not knowing that this is his daughter-in-law. And she's like, "Okay, what's it worth to you?" And I imagine he's like, "You know what? Yeah, I'll send you a whole goat," And she's like, "You gonna send me a goat? I don't work for free, like I need this is not Kmart. I do not have some kind of layaway plan or anything like that. Like I'm gonna need something right now. I need some collateral." And so he like, "All right, baby, like what you want?" And she said, "Uh, how about your ID?" Now, mind you, this was not like ID from the DMV. Like this is ancient biblical days type of ID. So it wasn't a photo, but they had distinct seals and ways that they would identify themselves. So she asked for that. Okay. So she's like, "I want your ID and let me get your walking stick too. Like, let me have your cane." And so he like, "Oh, that's nothing to me. You got it." And so he gave him up and she gave it up too. And then they went on about their business, right? However, this little exchange resulted in Tamar being pregnant. Okay. And so some time passed, and Judah was like, "Oh, yo," like talking to one of his friends. He like, "Oh, take that goat over there. Go find the chick that was in town and just go take this goat. I forgot, like I owe her this." And the friend went looking for her. It couldn't find her. He went to the town and he's like, "Yo, where your little streetwalker? Where's she at?" And they like, we don't have a streetwalker. So I don't know who you looking for." And so the friend took the goat back and he's like, "Yo, they don't know who I'm talking about." And Judah's like, "It's cool. Don't even worry about it. I did my part. You made some good effort to try to find her. Like, it's cool. She can just keep my ID and my cane." And so 3 months pass. And at this point, she's starting to show. Okay, so word's getting out, and word gets around to Judah that Tamar was out there acting like uh, she was out there getting around and she got pregnant. So I imagine Judah's like, "Yo, bring her here. She gonna disrespect me, disrespect my family like that. Okay, all right, so let's go get her. We gonna light her up." Because it was like the law. That's the rightfully, it's just like, okay, if you sin in this way, you could get burned at the stake kind of thing. And so, yeah, we're gonna light her up. So they went to go get her. Now, Tamar, she's so smart. She's like, hold up. Mm-mm. Wait a minute. Let's reason here. Cause before you start trying to light any kind of match or knocking your rocks together, trying to get a flint or whatever, like check this out real quick, cause my baby daddy is the one who this stuff belongs to. And she shows the seal and she shows or the ID, right? She shows the ID, she shows the cane, and she's like, "So yeah, before you want to light me on fire, let's just examine what I got here." And so Judah was like, "Ah, snap, man, I can't even believe it. I can't even do her no harm because she better than me. I did her dirty because she had the right to be with my son, and I didn't even think about sending him to her. And so I can't even really be mad." And so he like let it go. He didn't get with her anymore, but he still was like, "All right, cool, we'll let her live, let her make it." So Labor Day comes around, right? And when she goes into labor, they find out, boom, she's pregnant with twins. And so when she's pushing out, one of the baby boy pokes his little hand out, boop, And the midwife ties this scarlet thread around his wrist, and just to kind of identify, okay, cool, this is the one that came out first. And so then he pulls his hand back, swoop, and the other one actually comes out first. And the midwife's like, how you get out first? But anyway, they named the sons. Perez was the firstborn, the actual firstborn, and then Zerah was the one with the scarlet thread wrapped around his wrist. Now, I brought this up because if you actually read the ancestry.com profile on Jesus in Matthew chapter 1 and not skip over it, then you see that Perez is actually listed as one of the men in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. And I just found that so peculiar because it just goes to show it could have had Shelah as part of the genealogy if Judah would have done right by Tamar. But even in Judah's sinful state, in this manner of doing things the wrong way, God blessed that. Like let me put it this way, it didn't go to waste. Like there was beauty that came even from that birthing, and I just find that to be absolutely amazing. But anyhow, and the same thing with Leah, right? Because Leah wasn't even meant to be from, at least not from Jacob's plan, but even Leah, who was the oopsie wife, right? She's the one who actually was the mother of the ancestor that's in this lineage of Jesus Christ. So that's incredible to me. Anyhow, just all of that to say, we don't always do things perfect and they don't always go the way that we want them to go, but it doesn't mean that God can't use it. All right. So we will stop there for now. And we'll pick back up with what's going on with Joseph in Egypt on the next episode, if God should bless me with the opportunity to record another one. Until then, bye for now.